The SS Norge was a transatlantic ocean liner that was launched in 1881 in Scotland and lost in 1904 off Rockall with great loss of life. Her final voyage was from Copenhagen, bound for New York, carrying passengers, many of whom were immigrants. It was the biggest civilian maritime disaster in the Atlantic Ocean until the sinking of the Titanic 8 years earlier. And it's still the largest loss of life from a Danish merchant ship. Alexander Stephen and Sons of Luthouse, Glasgow, built the ship in 1881 as Pieter de Koninck for the Belgian company Theodore C. Engels & Co. of Antwerp. She was 3,700 tons dead weight, and her 1,400 horsepower engine gave a speed of 10 knots. She could carry a maximum of 800 passengers. In 1889, she was sold to the Danish company A.S. Danskibs Skelsskabet Thingvaller for its Steinslin Copenhagen Christiansand New York service and renamed Norge. On the 20th of August 1898, Norge collided with the French fishing Britantin La Coquette in a fog. La Coquette broke in two and sank, and 16 of the 25 crew aboard drowned. After financial difficulties, Thingvaller was brought in 1898 by Det Forned Damskibs Skelsskab DFDS Copenhagen, which served the route as Scandinavian American Line. By then, the capacity of Norge was 1,100 passengers, 50 first class, 150 second class, and 900 third class. Final voyage. On the 22nd of June 1904, Norge left Copenhagen under the command of Captain Valdemar Jonas Gundal. After taking on Norwegian immigrants at Kristiansand, the ship set course across the Atlantic Ocean, travelling north to Scotland to New York City. She was carrying a crew of 68 and 727 passengers. Among the steerage passengers, there were 296 Norwegians, 236 Russians, 79 Danes, 68 Swedes, and 15 Finns. Half of the steerage passengers had prepaid tickets paid for their relatives living in the United States. On the 28th of June, Norge ran aground on Hasselwood Rock, Helen's Reef, close to Rockall, in foggy weather. She was reversed off the rock after a few minutes, but the collision had ripped holes in the hull, and the water began pouring into the hold. The crew of the Norge began lowering the lifeboats, but the first two lowered were destroyed by waves. Of the 8 lifeboats on board, only 5 were successfully launched. Many passengers jumped overboard, only to drown. The Norge sank 12 minutes after the collision. Captain Gundal stayed with the ship as it sank, but managed to swim to one of the lifeboats. According to author Per Kristian Sebak's comprehensive account, more than 635 people died during the sinking, among them 225 Norwegians. The first survivors to be rescued, a group of 26, were found by the Grimsby trawler Sylvia. 32 more were picked up by British steamship Cervenax, and 70, including Captain Gundal, by the German steamship Energy. Some of the 160 survivors spent up to 8 days in open lifeboats before rescue. Several more people died in the days that followed rescue as a result of their exposure to the elements and swallowing seawater. Among the survivors was the poet Herman Wilderby. Wreck today. The disaster remains the worst in Danish maritime history. The wreck of the Norge was found off Rockland in July 2003 in 65 metres of water.